trying to record one of these for over an hour now. I've read a bunch of different articles. None of them really met, what I feel to be like an interesting story. And some of them were interesting, but they were very sad topics, and I ended up laughing and making funny voices for a lot of people. So for this next one, I'm going to remain completely unbiased. I'm just going to read the facts. I'm going to read what's on the screen. No comments, no voices. 100% serious. So this is an article written by Sam Stanton of the Sacramento Bee, and it is titled "California Man Sues Starbucks Over Tea Scalding, Says It Led to Disfigurement of Genitals." Just before 10 p.m. on October 5th, 2018, Tommy Pilyuev and his family pulled his BMW SUV into the drive-thru of a Starbucks in the Northern California city of Roseville. Pilyuev, then 22, and his wife ordered 2 grande-sized honey citrus mint teas, a decision that a new federal lawsuit says has changed his life forever. As the window associate reached to the SUV's windowsill to deliver the second sleeved and lidded up cup to Mr. Pilyuev, the lid lost its seal with the cup lip and dislodged from the top of the cup. According to the lawsuit filed in federal court in Sacramento, hot tea spilled on Mr. Pilyuev's left hand during the transfer. The cup overturned on the windowsill, and hot tea poured onto Mr. Pilyuev's hands, stomach, and pelvic area. Covered in scalding tea and unable to open his door to escape because he was near the drive-thru window, Mr. Pilyuev quickly put the SUV into gear and accelerated from the window. He pulled into an adjacent parking lot, hastily exited the vehicle, stripped off his sweatpants. By the time he traveled from the Sirby Way store to the Sutter Roseville Medical Center's emergency room, he suffered partial thickness burns with blistering across the lower left abdomen, thighs, penis, scrotum, peritoneum, and buttocks. According to the suit, which also claims he suffered burns on 9 fingers and can no longer play the piano. Pilyuev ended up in the UC Davis Medical Center's burn unit for 11 days, where the suit says he required intravenous pain control along with intensive and invasive wound care. Mr. Pilyuev could not use his hands or fingers for any purpose, including personal care, the suit says. He became entirely dependent on the medical staff. Upon discharge, Mr. Pilyuev's wife performed her husband's wound and personal care. Mr. Pilyuev transitioned from IV narcotics to gabapentin, oxycodone, Tylenol, and ibuprofen. In the 5 months post-discharge from Mr. Pilyuev gradually regained the ability to walk, the ability to sense touch in some of his fingers, the ability to hold his young child, and eventually to use the computer keyboard. Mr. Pilyuev remained unable to play the piano. The sensitivity and permanent skin discoloration and disfigurement of Mr. Pilyuev's genitals and inner thighs made eventual intimacy awkward and painful. Now, Pilyuev and his wife, Lyudmila Mafty, are suing Starbucks and Pactive Packaging Incorporated, which the suit says provided the cups and lids, alleging negligence and product liability. Their lawyer, Whitney Davis, who has offices in Fort Worth, Texas, and Sacramento, alleges in the lawsuit that the defendants were aware of 80 complaints per day of lids popping off cups, and that they had knowledge of additional complaints and burn incidents from employees, managers, and associates concerning defective cups and lids. The tea itself is served at temperatures ranging from 190 to 205 degrees, the suit says. Pactiv did not respond to a request for comment, but a Starbucks spokesman said the coffee giant is evaluating the claim. Our partners take great pride in ensuring our beverages are crafted with care and delivered to customers safely, the spokeswoman for the Seattle-based company said. And we take our responsibility to provide a safe environment seriously and will continue to do so. The lawsuit is similar to others over the years that have alleged injury from coffee or other hot drinks spilling onto customers. One of the most famous hot coffee lawsuits came in 1992 when a 79-year-old woman, Stella Liebeck, sued McDonald's after sustaining burns from a spilled cup of coffee and was awarded $2.9 million in damages. The size of the award, which was later reduced, drew national headlines and accusations that such suits were frivolous, something attorneys and legal organizations say is unwarranted. The coffee was not just hot, but dangerously hot, Consumer Attorneys of California says in a posting on the case. McDonald's corporate policy was to serve it at a temperature that could cause serious burns in seconds. Mrs. Liebeck's injuries were far from frivolous. She was wearing sweatpants that absorbed the coffee and kept it against her skin. She suffered third-degree burns, the most serious kind, and required skin grafts on her inner thighs and elsewhere. Liebeck originally sought $20,000 for medical expenses and lost income, but the case went to trial after McDonald's refused to offer more than $800, the attorneys group said. Liebeck's case was far from an isolated incident, the group said. McDonald's had received more than 700 previous reports of injury from its coffee, including reports of third-degree burns, and had paid settlements in some cases. Starbucks has faced similar suits, including a 2017 case that resulted in a woman winning a $100,000 verdict after she was burned when the lid of a 20-ounce cup of coffee poured off and burned her, according to the Florida-based Morgan & Morgan law firm. Cases like this and the infamous McDonald's coffee lawsuit are treated as a punchline among those who feel our country has become overly litigious despite the life-altering injuries suffered by victims like our client, the law firm said in a statement on its website. You need only listen to Toby Keith's classic lyric, "Spill a cup of coffee, make $1 million," to understand how our country views these cases. Wow, what a closer, bringing Toby Keith into this of all people. But he's got a point. This is not just a punchline. Like I said before I started this, I knew this article was going to try and make me laugh. But here I am looking like an idiot because I just have no heart. And I have, apparently. I'm surprised they didn't just blame the dude who worked at Starbucks. Like, if you hold a cup like this, if you hold it by like the lid, I wonder if that's what he was doing, because you don't do that. Although, you kind of have to if you're handing it to someone so they can, like, I don't know. Really what they should get rid of is drive-thrus. All these people had trouble at the drive-thru. I don't know. I'm really surprised that that's a thing that's like okay. I don't know. You can't talk on your phone, but you can just go to a place and get food, and they just trust you to not eat while driving. Okay. All right. But you know what? We'll leave that for a different video. Yeah, this is I apologize for the wide array of topics, but I really don't have this like nailed down on like what these videos are gonna be. I started reading the weather. It made me sad. I read about Venus one time. I don't know. Really, it's just me scrolling through Reddit, and then I find I find an interesting title of an article, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna read this in my head anyway. I might as well. I don't know. Read it out loud for fun. No, this is what we're doing. We're having a great time. So yeah, thanks for being here, listening to me read one of my favorite books. California man sues Starbucks over tea scalding, says it led to, in quotes, disfigurement of genitals, by Sam Stanton of the Sacramento Bee. Bye.